and oof, it's gonna be tough. But this story here, this Descent into Avernus campaign, is one that started with a murder, one committed, we know, by Bryn at this point, who, under duress, his family and the orphanage that they run was being threatened by a fairly nefarious group here in Baldur's Gate called the Guild. And so they had put Bryn up to this task, one that he was, or she, right? Sorry, I know I always get that backwards. Was always was not looking forward to this task at all, but one that she was willing to do in order to safeguard the family. And Yakers McBob just gifted a tier 1 sub to Kit. I was looking at the name, I'm like, wait, I know that name. Thank you, Jakers McBob, for gifting that sub. And so Bryn, in contemplating that, received a dagger. Can you all hear my dog yipping in the background?
Tiny bit.
Yeah. So she received a dagger that was delivered to the orphanage, one that had no sender attached to it, but one that kind of promised that use this murder weapon. I don't know if there was a message or something on it, kind of anonymously left. Use this weapon, and this will not be traced back to you. And so that is what happened. This weapon was used by Bryn to kill Bailiff Jedrin, who the guild had some grievance with, thinking that maybe he was skimming a little too much off of his cut of the fees and things like that he was collecting from merchants in the wide. And this worked. Bryn was completely blameless for the murder that happened, but the curse on the weapon was that it would subject innocents that the user knows to a wider conspiracy. It had already enwrapped Evangeline into it, Evangeline being suspect number one of the murder of Jedrin. It was starting to wrap itself around Aplos as well. We didn't ever quite get there, but Aplos had this sack of money that was on his person that he discovered at some point, but it never came to fruition, partially because we might know who. I think Bryn, probably in the course of the week since our campaign last left off, probably figures out that this dagger was sent by his new patron, Black Cloak.
It also helps that Aplos constantly has gold just falling out of his pockets.
Gold falling out, falling in.
It's
just a cycle.
It's just a, thing that happens.
So we never quite got to the point where the wider conspiracy probably would have gotten Lorem at some point too. Just being around Bryn was going to bring all sorts of trouble to you. But Bryn has since made a deal with this patron Black Cloak in a dire situation. I don't know how many sessions prior, but Bryn's soul is on the line, and maybe Black Cloak is satisfied with that. Nothing. In fact, the charges against Evangeline are almost instantly dropped the moment you emerge back to Captain Zaj. In our last sessions, where you were basically blackmailed by the Flaming Fist to investigate the activities of the Cult of the Dead, the Cult of the Dead 3, which led to a wider conspiracy that led you to Duke Van Thamper's home. Or at least the cellar underneath her home. And while there, you met a couple of allies, a couple of characters. Fallister Fisk, a monk from Candlekeep, who was working for someone, a sage at Candlekeep, that believed that there was something more at hand with the disappearance of El Terrell, this Baldur's Gate's sister city. You also met a member of the Hell Riders, those famed knights from El Terrell, a woman named Rhea Mantlemorn. So they both became quick allies to you as you navigated around underneath the Van Thamper home, and you made quite the discovery when you found the spiritual leader, the High Overlord of El Terrell, Thavius Krieg, seemingly a prisoner there, but that quickly became apparent that that was just a ruse. Should he be found, he was studying this big, large, demonic or devilish-looking shield, which you all put in a bag that Bryn had been given by the guild to fill their pockets, and so somewhere they're very happy that you have given them this item. But that's neither here nor there. That's just what you came upon was Thavius Krieg. You took him prisoner, and you dealt at one point with Duke Van Thamper herself, who employed her agents, her cultists, and I think there was even like a bone devil or
Barbed?
barbed devil of some kind that
Was
was
the Barb Devil.
aiming to probably murder Evangeline, but due to some intervention or just skill, you managed to get out of there alive. And so, where this game picks up is basically we've returned. Thavius Krieg is pretty good evidence of everything that happened. You delivered him to the Flaming Fist, Captain Zaj. Taking custody of him, and many things transpired as a result of your discoveries. The first being the Flaming Fist almost immediately went into action to raid the Thamper estate. Duke Van Thamper was not found. She is still at large somewhere. But they did apprehend one of her sons, Thirstwell Van Thamper. Of course, you all know that you let her youngest son go, and he was also not found. And it was also reported in the broadsheets that her eldest son, Amric Van Thamper, is seemingly MIA as well. The Council of Four, which really is now a Council of Two with the removal of Duke Van Thamper, having been taken into custody. And, of course, you may recall that Grand Duke Alder Ravengard, his status is also known because he was on a diplomatic mission to El Terrell at the time that it went missing. So the governance structure in Baldur's Gate is very shaky right now, but nonetheless, the Parliament and the two remaining council members of the Council of Four have taken a few steps. First of all, there's this refugee situation outside the gates of Baldur Gate. So they've worked with the legislature to enact some relief. It's clear that there's going to be no resolution to this situation anytime soon, and so they're starting to work with some of the guilds to maybe build some temporary housing, get some food out there for the folks, and furthermore, it's come to their attention some of the ways that Captain Zaj has been acting in his tenure as the Flaming Fist commander. So they've removed him and have instilled the little bit of nepotism happening because the current acting head of the council has put his daughter in charge, Liara Portier. So these are some of the things that have transpired in this week that you all, you'll be able to give us the rundown on what your characters have been up to in this past week. Maybe some of you have stayed in contact. Maybe you are splitting up in hopes that you never see each other again. Who knows? But I think we'll go around and get a quick update on reintroduce us to your character. Who is your character? Maybe a little bit about their background, and then tell us what have they been up to in this past week. And let's start with Evangeline.
So
My name is Evangeline, and I am a merchant, or perhaps was a merchant. Um, the past week, I have realized that my place in town is, well, a little precarious. And so I have been trying to sell off my, well, anything that can be sold off quickly and without too much of a loss. Which is difficult since I don't have my wonderful, wonderful spot near the tree anymore. So things have been difficult, but persevering and trying to make the best of the situation so that I can get out of here with just a little more coin in my pocket. That's it.
Awesome. Next up, we have Laurel.
My name is Lorem. I am the son of a merchant, but I'm trying to start my own business, a gold shoulder consulting and concern and adventuring firm for all of your needs, no matter how bizarre. And after a very shaky victory in what I'm calling our first gig, even though we were blackmailed and had no choice, I decided to spend the week brushing up on all of the business sense that I probably didn't listen to when my father was first trying to get me involved in the meadery. So I spent the week buried in books that I had smuggled out of the family home in my father's office, and basically just trying to make sure all of the bad things that happened this the week before don't happen again.
Awesome. Next up, we have Aplos.
Hello. So Aplos is a young elf, well, young for an elf. He's about 74, 75 years old. Um, and he is a paladin, and quite fond of being all attired in the good armor and such things. And he acts as an escort in the town. But business has dried up a bit, what with the refugees and all, and the gates being closed, and the Wide having a new bailiff who's not very fond of baked goods, and his primary contact for waiting in line at the Wide now closing up shop. So basically, he's got Gold Shoulder and consultants left as a potential job. So he's been hounding Lorem constantly. Do we have a job yet? When's our next adventure? They happen right after one another, right? They're just back to back to back. No, I know I don't sleep, so I don't need to rest. That elves don't do that. So that's sort of his method of getting through the day is sort of a frantic style. He is nobility. He's got the title and the little piece of paper and everything, and servants, of course, and a house and that sort of thing. But he hasn't really been allowed outside the city much. So he's enrolled in a correspondence course to learn how to ride horses. So he's just paid his 250 gold, and he's got his book and his study, and he's got a nice saddle that he puts over a fence, and he practices riding diligently every evening when no one else can see him. Um, and that's basically what he's been doing. Oh, and he did get a very nice suit of full plate armor with lots of spikes and pointy things and symbols of evil people. So he's had his armorer working on that, grinding away the spikes and turning them into like little thorns and briars and that sort of thing. Much
So
more in keeping with his style.
Much
if
classier.
if Lorem is doing his job and keeping up on that business sense, he'll look to turn this embarrassing thing that's probably happening out in front of the shop into a marketing opportunity to
Oh yeah,
drum up some
I so
attention.
so as soon as yeah, if Aplos's armor was finished before the week's up, I 100% putting him in that armor, putting him in front of the office, and have
Oh, you muted.
Muted.
I hit my keyboard, totally having him hand out business cards and pamphlets to people walking by in his brand new shiny armor.
Oh yes,
Yes.
this is this is oh, what do they call it? Marketing.
So yeah, definitely you got your armor and any of your things that you needed repaired or new purchases you've made that have since transpired and have been
Oh yes, the
executed.
gold
So
goes into the money pouch and it comes out of the
mhm.
money pouch just as quickly. It's how he
Yes.
gets into debt.
That's the adventuring way. Um,
It is.
and then lastly, we have Bryn.
Yep. Hi, I'm playing Bren. Bren is a halfling, and since I guess the past week or two, also a warlock. Um, she spends most of her time helping out at her family's shelter. They even before the refugee crisis, Baldur's Gate has certainly had its share of homeless and destitute, and her family has been the keepers of a temple of Cyril Lily, which is the halfling goddess of hospitality, and they take care of those who currently don't have food or shelter. And even, I guess, even for the past few weeks, or even the past week, even with the refugee crisis somewhat abated, they've been having their hands quite full, making sure that everyone is taken care of. So even after the events at the Van Thamper Manor, Bryn is hard at work, kind of head to the head to the stone, and trying to push all those memories of having possibly sold her soul to a a fiend of unknown status
Yeah.
and nature, and focused on the task at hand.
Yeah, other than maybe some of your newfound powers or anything, you haven't the door hasn't been knocking, and Black Cloak hasn't like emerged or anything. Nothing peculiar has happened since your time down and underneath the streets of Baldur's Gate. But after about a week or so, on one of the days when you're tending to your chores or your tasks around the orphanage, one of the young boy comes up to you, um, and says, Miss Bryn, there was a young a person was looking for you earlier. I didn't know where you were, but she said to give you this." And the young boy just pulls out a piece of kind of tattered parchment. It looks a little bit weathered, but it seems to be a letter addressed specifically to you, in kind of a fanciful calligraphy. And it just says, "My dearest Bryn, I've been thinking a lot about our time down below in the Van Thamper estate, and I have need of you once again. Please meet with me if you are up for another adventure at the Gold Shoulder Consulting and Concern." And then is signed Rhea.
Right. That's the Hell Rider, yes. All right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I guess I'll be out. Mother, father, I'll be back before sundown. And I start heading out.
And they likely have their hands full themselves, and you come and go, and so they kind of wave, and it's not a big deal as you head out, make your way to the near the upper city, where this office is. And Evangeline, so you're set up shop maybe back up at the wide, maybe not your usual spot. Maybe it's tougher for you to offload your wares to the populace, the people that are drifting by. You're trying to liquidate, so you're having to sell some of your stuff at a huge discounts, and even then, it's just hard to offload the volume of stuff that you have. But at one point, there is a cloaked figure that drops by and is kind of gazing at what kind of wares do you sell? What kinds of things would we see on the shelf?
So, to be frank, it's mostly the kind of thing that people buy that they don't really need, and they just want to like set a little nice globe on their bookshelf to look fancy. So, it's kind of hard to sell those things quickly. You got to have the right buyer at the right time. Um, but lots of shiny, glittery things, and it makes you feel nice to have them.
So there's like yeah, like a little snow globe kind of thing with a little like farmstead on it, and it's kind of like snowy covered, and there's a hand that reaches out for it underneath the cloak, and you see a feminine face freckled underneath the cloak, and you recognize it as Rhea, and she picks up the snow globe and gives it a shake, and she smiles a bit, and beaming, she says, how much for this?
That? Oh, for you, hun, I can let go of it for 1 silver.
Wow. It reminds me of home, or at least a
Oh.
home once upon a time. And she gives you a silver piece and she says, well, I didn't come for this. It's just kind of a added incentive to come by and see you once again, but you were very impressive down there
Yep.
underneath the Van Thamper estate.
Thank you.
I never could quite understand your relationship with those others, but I was just about to
well,
go and drop in on them. I think that we have a business opportunity that we all could get behind.
Well, to be frank, I am looking for a new business opportunity. I've been thinking of closing up shop, so I'm game to join you, see what they have available for us.
Well, I know, I, 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 I d- I don't know how much you make with all of this, but we will probably be out of town for some time. Um, do you have someone that can look after your things, or?
Yeah, I have a storage unit. Anything that doesn't sell, we can put it there. It'll be safe.
Well, let me help you. And she kind of starts into helping you to wrap things up and load it all into a wagon to take to this place that you store these things at night, to keep them safe. And the two of you make your way not far from the Wide would be the place where Laurel has started renting from his parents, a little shop front and a flat above it. Um, and you could see as you approach, a sign has been very newly minted, perhaps with the logo and the emblem and the nice lettering burned into the wood of it. Gold Shoulder Consulting and Concern. And the two of you make your way into the office. It's probably maybe about midday or so as you enter in. Aplos, it sounds like, is already there, maybe out front, maybe inside taking a lunch break. But one way or another, you all gather in. And sooner or
Little
later,
bell on the door rings as you come in.
the bell rings, and Bryn is not far behind. As you all gather up and kind of reacquaint yourself with one another once again. It's been a week.
Oh, it's so good to see you all. I was wondering, did you have an opinion? I was just at the shop, and they have a crowbar, or they have what they call a door basher. Which do you think?
They're like basher.
Oh, yes, it's a door basher. What do they call it? A battering ram. And he's holding up like a sizable battering ram. I was thinking the crowbar might be handier for more things, but this seems more fun.
You're gonna carry that around with you everywhere?
And you can see where he's accumulated a small mountain of gear. He's got like the ball bearings, the caltrops, the mess kit, the tent, the backpack, the bedroll, just like all the shiny stuff in a pile. Well, I figured our servants would carry them for us.
Apolos is like someone who's just getting into a new hobby and doesn't know where to start. Buys all the stuff.
So I come out from the back holding a tray of tea, that only has enough for two, and suddenly see there's an additional three people in my storefront, and oh bother. Well, so I'll have to do. I'll go to sit down. So, well, it's nice to see some familiar faces around here. I was meaning to get back in touch with you all lately.
Ah, yes. Looks like you're doing quite well for yourself. How many
Oh, yeah.
adventure quests have you done?
Um. So how was your week?
Well,
You know,
business is about to get good for you, I think. I have a job. Or I've secured.
Oh.
I thought of your. I remember you mentioning this place or this group of yours, and the Flaming Fist has called upon. Is looking for a group to head out to Candlekeep.
Oh, well, yes. Come on, Rhea, sit down. Let's have a chat. Tell me about this job of yours.
And she kind of looks like a little bit like beside herself. She says, I don't know if it was right for me to do, but it seemed like they were offering a lot of money. So I hope you don't mind. I maybe fibbed a bit to. I had an audience with Liara Portier, and well, I already signed the contract.
Oh, oh, okay.
But I think when you see how much they're offering, you'll be quite pleased. And she pulls out kind of a rolled up parchment that has a bit of twine rolled around it. She unravels it and lays it out, and she says, "Do you remember that thing that Fallister was looking for? He said he was looking for some kind of a cube.
Yes.
Well, it seems that they've recovered it, and they wish to have it delivered. They don't know what to make of it. They want it delivered to Candlekeep to be read. They believe that... Well, they believe that it might reveal something about the deal that Thavius made. It might explore something about the fate of El Terrell. And maybe they're hoping will lead to the location or the whereabouts of the Grand Duke."
Ooh. I was hoping we wouldn't have another run-in with her again, but
Oh no. She's done. In politics for her are done. They're looking for the Grand Duke Alder Ravengard.
oh,
Their leader, the leader of the Flaming Fist.
so bigger fish. Well, who am I to turn down a job? We need one. So, yes. Do you happen to have a copy of that contract so that I can look it over?
Yeah, so it's like she lays it out flat on the table for you to examine, and you can see that there's a couple of clauses to it. Namely, your eyes probably are drawn right to what the payout is, and there's a couple of things there. 400 gold pieces for each member of the party that successfully helps deliver and deciphers the cube, and then a flat fee of 20,000 gold pieces if you can recover Alder Ravengard, dead or alive. They want to know. They want him, one way or another, back.
What was the flat fee number again?
20,000 gold pieces.
Ooh. Oh, that's a lot of money. That sounds wonderful, but that's also concerning. And I'm gonna continue to read through all of the fine print and try and find why it costs that much.
You don't have to look through the fine print. This is a huge figure in Baldur's Gate politics. This is the guy that presides over the Council of Four, and also, the one that keeps the Flaming Fist so disciplined. You saw how things were running under Captain Zaj, and Liara Portier, for all of her abilities as a leader. She was stationed out at Fort Belwarian on Chult until recently. She was just recently called back. So she's probably only marginally better of a leader during these chaotic times, given all the problems that the Flaming Fists are having dealing with the refugee crisis and other things that are happening. The guild is being pretty brazen right now, so this is a small price to pay to bring back some stability.
Okay.
A lot of money for you, but
Yes, a lot of money for me. Two things I'm going to look at for this contract. I want to look at the section for what happens if we fail to deliver the item.
if you fail to deliver the puzzle, I mean, you know that you will be on the Flaming Fist radar. There would be some language there in terms of forfeiture of your business, dismantling of your. I mean, they already know. You know, they thought they were dealing with Rhea. They know they're only like. They don't really allow adventuring mercenary groups like yours to organize in such a formal way, but you made a deal with Zaj to allow you yourself to operate, and so that would be like dissolved if if you don't carry out your duties. It's all bad. It's all bad. Very bad stuff.
All standard.
Yes.
Standard bad
Oh.
stuff.
That's very normal. That's similar to having your nobility taken away.
Yes, quite. Well, this is all good information to know, considering we don't have a choice. But there's quite a lot of money, so if we can pull this off, then we are set for quite a while.
Well, it's only 20,000.
Only. Imagine how much we could do with that money.
I mean, I guess we could put a new wing on.
It's Apple. So do you know how much 20,000 gold is?
A few apple trees.
Oh no.
Oh yes, well that's about what my estate was worth.
Rhea's just like looking at you, kind of shocked, and says, "I was thinking about how many mouths it would feed back home, where I'm from."
Precisely.
Oh, well, I guess you could throw a reasonable party for that.
Aplos, honey. So,
We need to get you
Well.
out of the city.
yeah.
I think Candlekeep will be good for us.
Yes. A little jaunt.
And we'll get to ride horses.
Rhea,
Yes, we will
Indeed.
need
I have a
horses.
book.
But
Rhea pulls out of her bag the puzzle cube and puts it on the table.
Oh,
What does it look like again?
I don't have.
Hellraiser.
Yeah, I don't have a good image for you on the cube. But basically, it's a metal box, and it's got kind of this like maze-like pattern. I don't know, like you ever see like those circular types of mazes that maybe you did as a kid in the coloring books or whatever. Like it's kind of got that type of symbol embedded on either each side of it.
Is it like one continuous maze across the entire surface of the thing, or is
No,
it like a
there-
separate face?
Separate for each face, and each one is slightly different.
I gently pick it up and look at it and try not to shake it too much. Well,
As you're holding it, Rhea points at it and she says, "It is not money that concerns me. I have other reasons why I want this job. I think that there might be something in that box that Davius Krieg, there has to be an explanation for what has happened. He must be under some influence. There must be something in that box that explains it."
Oh, yeah. I'm sure there is, son.
well, if you want to do the mazes, we could make a rubbing, and then you could do the mazes at your leisure.
I think doing the mazes is a bad idea. generally,
Oh.
considering all the things that we've seen recently. I don't strange objects, many strange objects, most of which have talked to us. I think we should not do the mazes.
But adventure.
There are other ways to do adventure, Aplos, and you'll soon find out. Horses are an adventure.
Ooh, horses.
Yes, I think the sooner we can deliver this to the monks at Candlekeep, the better. I don't want to open something that was meant to be locked away again.
Lorem, as
You
you're
weren't there.
holding it, you can feel its heft. It is very heavy. You can kind of feel something like sliding around, almost like, I don't know, some kind of really dense object.
Don't like that. Rhea, you were keeping such good ownership of this. Why don't you carry it with
She
us?
accepts it back and puts it back in her backpack, and she says, "With pleasure. I will keep it safe until we make our way to Candlekeep."
So, Candlekeep, that's what? A week?
She
Week or
says,
more?
5 days journey.
Well, first things first, we're going to need horses and supplies.
Yes, I was not altogether prepared for further adventuring, so I'm definitely going to need to do a bit of shopping before we head out. And we'll need a horse.
So, since I haven't seen the rest of you since the incident, but I have seen Aplos, Bryn, and Evangeline, I'll give you an extra 10 gold
Thank you.
for payment for your services on our very first job that went so well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, if you're gonna go buy some horses, you won't be able to do that in Baldur's Gate. You're gonna have to go to the outer city. They don't allow anything larger than a chicken, I want to say, in Baldur's Gate, in terms of livestock. Could be a little bit sketchy. Let's see. Other things that you're looking to buy, other than the horses?
I would like to buy a light crossbow.
I would check to see if Aplos has one.
That is
he's-
true. He might have actually just, has one in that giant pile over there. Do you, dear?
Oh, no, weaponry I think should be customized. I have my longbow, and it's like the one that's intricately carved that's been carried. I did replace my shield. That other one was a little bit gauche. This one's a lot nicer, and they redid my armor, and he's got his long sword and his great sword. But other than that, nothing really useful.
All right. Well, that's
he-
lovely.
Shopping wise, he did pick up ball bearings, caltrops, a bunch of rope, a healer's kit, lantern, oil, and replaced his 10-foot pole.
Oh, so we're all
Oh.
set.
There you go.
Well, we'll need horses, which we'll get as we leave the city, and food, provisions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think Bryn probably would have already purchased some studded leather armor because of what happened back then. She does not want to be caught off guard again, so she's probably already got that.
I have. Oh, no, I'm going to hold on to this. Second thought. Yeah, I have. I have everything that I'll need.
All right, so you do the purchasing, the shoppings that you need to in town, and at some point you make your way to Basilisk Gate, where, seeing your approach to the Flaming Fist, you've since returned your badges and all that. You're no longer acting as official Flaming Fist. You're part of your own crew now, as extended. You're under contract by the Flaming Fist, but nonetheless they recognize you and they know what your job is. As you approach the gate, the doors open, and you see a couple of Flaming Fist soldiers kind of go out into this mass of people that were just butted up against the gate. They're kind of taking a couple of swings, some warning shots. They hit a couple of the Elturellan refugees to kind of get them to back off and allow you a way forward. And this does they do what they need to disperse the crowd a bit so you can get through, but nonetheless you're wading through humanity here a bit. I need each of you to give me a perception check as you make your way through the crowd.
Four.
Luckily, I rolled well.
Hey.
Yeah.
So, Aplos, as you're moving through, your purse, you don't see it, but one of these refugees cuts through your purse, and those coins that are always spilling out just start spilling. And you can just see there's like a mass of people that are like kind of going for the coins as if you were just throwing it willy-nilly in the streets.
Oh,
I can't think.
oh no.
By the time you maybe grab your coin purse, half of your money has spilled out.
Oh.
Oh. Well,
Did you get that in travel insurance like I told you to?
I suppose charity is good. So you're welcome.
And nobody seems to acknowledge the fact that this like clearly was pouring forth from your purse. There's no attribution of gratitude. It's disappointing.
Ah, well, this is why they always tell us not to give money to the poor. They show no appreciation unless it's done through a proper charity, like Miss Bryn's here. So,
Oh, Aplos.
Oh, Aplos.
Oh, and I thought my family was insufferable. Well,
And Bryn, at some point, not just now, but at some point in the future, probably tonight when you sit down to camp, you'll realize that half of your rations have been snuffed out, pickpocketed from your pockets.
oh, not the rations. Oh, but good news, I did spend almost all my money before that happened.
That is good news. So,
Always on the bright side.
you all wade through this crowd, and eventually you duck into kind of a dirt road in the outer city where there's a stable set up, and you can purchase some horses here. Purchase whichever type you like. A standard draft horse, I believe, is 50 gold.
I'll go ahead and try and find the stable owner or whoever would manage the sale of the horses. We go, oh, hello, good afternoon. How are you doing this evening?
There's a human woman there in her 50s, dirty overalls, big high rider boots. She says, "Yeah, what can I do you for? You looking for some horses? Setting
Yes.
out on a journey."
Yes, we'll be making passageway south here for about 5 days ride there and back. So we'll need some good horses for a bit of a longer journey. We're looking to purchase 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horses.
I like this one, it's big.
I can
And it
I can
likes
set
apples.
you up with. Yeah, they all do. That's a feature. They all come preloaded with a love of horses and. I don't know what do horses eat other than apples.
Apples and carrots?
Apples and carrots.
I don't know if that's right, but sure.
That's what TV and cartoons have taught me.
I'm gonna go with oats.
Oats.
Oats. I was gonna say oats, and I was like, no, this is gonna be another one of those armadillos can't swim things. I'm just not gonna say it.
Oh, he loves my granola.
My Nature Valley.
Hey, yes, thank you, Corey. Of course.
Yeah. Real fact for everyone: horses really like peppermint. Really like peppermint.
Mm.
But
Aplos is experimenting with this, and he has picked the biggest draft horse he can find. Like this thing
yeah,
is like,
it's Apples. We don't need quite that much. They're meant for pulling things.
oh, but I do have a lot of things.
We don't need to be taking all of that. You already
No.
lost half of your money. Do you want to lose half of your things too?
They won't get lost. He's quite big.
We're going to put you on the starter horse. So I'll try and find
Little pony. He's walking along on either side of it.
So the woman and her
Of course,
sons
it's
start,
little
you know,
buttons on the side of it.
I've got a saddle. And he's got his saddle that he was training with on the fence.
oh, you got your own saddle. All right, well, that'll make it. That's one less
And a
saddle you need to buy. She starts bringing all her sons. Bring out the horses, and you got 5 there that she's lined up. They all look a little on the older side, probably. People tend to leave their horses on one side or the other as they cross through Baldur's Gate. Then they maybe pick one up on the other side once they've done their business in town if they're going to pass through. So these are probably, hand me down. This is like the 2015 version of this horse.
That's fine.
Still
That's
good,
fine.
but not the newest model.
Yeah, well, they'll be a little bit more well seasoned. They'll travel better. Yes. So for 5 horses, what are you looking to ask for?
She'll say the price is 250 gold.
And that's the discount with bringing our own additional saddle.
Well, you just don't have to buy any saddles. I mean, you don't need a saddle. You can ride these horses are used to it.
Yes.
Tell you what,
Well,
I'll throw in free saddles.
you know what? I will take that deal.
There you go.
So 250.
Yep.
I will front all of that.
Oof.
All right,
Thank
write
you,
it off at
boss.
the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, business expense. All right, so I'll go ahead and take out my gold pouch quickly, count them out, and hand it over, and then direct Aplos to start saddling up the horses because one, that's going to be a little bit more difficult for me since I'm a dwarf. So I will
Chapter
just
1.
I will just oversee.
Chapter 1. Saddling your steed. Start by approaching your steed from the front. That's the one with 2 holes.
I will immediately close the book. It's like you approach them from the left, Aplos, from the left. Never approach a horse from the front.
Oh, that's step 2. Then he,
Oh.
brum, brum, brum.
Oh, Haplos.
He's very good at following directions.
So you start to ride away and approach the 2 great bridges. The bridge that crosses over the I don't know how to pronounce it, Kyanthar River. And sooner or later, Baldur's Gate is starting to disappear from view as you look back. You find yourselves heading down the Coast Way, a dirt road that leads to such distant lands as Tether, Am, and Kalimshan. Candlekeep lies some 150 miles south and west. Would be a 5-day journey on foot. You'll cut into that a little bit maybe by the fact that you are riding horses, but it'll still be about that to get there. You're also getting kind of maybe a later start here on this first day of travel, but nonetheless you make some progress. And at the end of the day, let's see, I got a map of the Sword Coast here for folks at home. And let's see, we'll put a little token out there. Maybe first day's journey, you get to just about where the Cloakwood Woods, or the Cloakwood is, and you stop off to make camp. You set up any bedrolls. Rhea herself has procured a tent, so she'll set that up as you make your fire and kind of settle in. It's your first night on the open road. Anything you like to do as dawn or dusk comes quickly. You collect some firewood, maybe to fire up the fire to cook some food, maybe share some tales, stories with one another, share a little bit about one another.
As the evening is starting to wind down and we've all just about finished our food, I will pull out a bottle of mead that I took with me and start passing it around. It's the old family business. Good stuff. Could never quite get into it making it myself, though. And he takes a swig and then hands it to Aplos first.
Aplos expands his collapsible camp cup and then pours a little bit in and then hands it back to you and then drinks it. Oh, it's very good. And he collapses his little camp cup and then stows that back away in his stuff. And everything, of course, is very shiny. And he's assembling a tent that has lots of parts, and he'll probably be done come morning.
Trying to bend it, do it all by yourself, it's tough.
He's trying to put it all together by himself. He's like following the instructions and slowly moving it. And he's like, he puts the one end up and it goes zoom, and he goes to get the other end and zoom. And then he like ties one thing to a tree and the other thing to the tree. And he's like, and I put the rain tarp over here and I dig my trench. Oh, I should have dug the latrine first. He's following his little handbooks.
Bryn's just watching the whole thing as Aplos is trying to learn these things. She takes a swig of the mead and passes it off to Evangeline. And she says, I think after a few years of knowing him, it's best to just let him experience things on his own, you know?
I agree. Although, I am curious that he even bought the tent if he's not going to be sleeping in it. But, it's...
Rhea takes a bit of the mead and she kind of raises up to you, Laurel, and she says, now is this mead? This is alcohol.
Yes. Fermented honey.
Never had it before.
Never had mead or never had alcohol.
I mean, you can tell when you look at her, she's got this blazing red hair, kind of a freckled face. She's young. She's maybe 17 years old. So she isn't so worldly. She hasn't had a lot of experiences with things. Especially she comes from kind of a religious type of background to followers of Torm. It's not against their beliefs or anything, but this is a new thing for her. So she's a little tentative as she takes it, but curious. She takes a sip. She her face makes kind of a scrunched up kind of like, oof, wasn't expecting that, but nonetheless she tries to play it off like she's cool, and she drinks a little bit more and she says, so, whew, is it warm?
Oh,
now,
you sweet summer child.
And she's probably looking over at Aplos and she says, have you all never adventured before? I thought you were adventuring company.
Newly formed.
And Aplos is a new hire.
Yes. Bit of a greenhorn.
Well, arguably, I think we're all new hires. We started when Aplos started.
Yeah. It's a new venture I've undertaken. Trying to branch out the portfolio a bit, but
I have done escort missions in the city. I just wasn't allowed outside the city walls.
Ah, okay. That leads me to the question I had was whether adventuring was your first vocation or not. If you, Evangeline, I saw you were selling your wares and they were very lovely. I'm wondering about the
Oh.
rest of you.
Yes, I wonder as well. This is some quite fine mead, Laurel. Is there a
Uh,
reason why you're not at home conducting the family business?
it's my brothers are a little bit more apt at it than I am. I'll say. Yeah, it just wasn't suited for me.
Hmm.
I think it's a very fine career for you, though. I think that you made a wise decision.
I wanted to do something different. The family's been doing mead for hundreds and hundreds of years. It just seems boring at this point.
It is very lovely meat, though.
It is good. It is good, but that's not what's going to get remembered in the history books.
But the
Someone
job
might keep a
security-
bottle on their shelf as a collector's item at some point, but I mean, it doesn't have a lasting impact.
Hmm. I don't
So,
know.
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Bryn just kind of scratches her head and she just says, I don't know, it seems like you live a lot longer making mead than this adventuring business.
Yeah,
Unless you fall in the vat.
well, I can't say we've lost any workers since I've been around, but I've heard stories.
Giant bees.
No, there are no giant bees, unfortunately. That would make things a little bit more exciting. But
A lot of little bees.
yes,
Oh.
many.
But I'm
Lots.
almost certain there are giant bees. I've read about them.
Yes, perhaps I wouldn't know, but
We should go look for some. That would make your brother very happy, I think. We'll bring
well,
him
we signed a contract. We do have a job that we need to do.
Oh, yes. Well,
Rhea yawns and she says, This honey drink is making me sleepy. I
Hey,
think
don't
I'm
do
off
that.
to bed." And so she retires for the night. And are they commenting in the chat? Are there no rewards left other than, or maybe this is Kogo's sense of humor that there's nothing left other than resurrections and sending inspiration. Yes, that's it. So
what, you gotta feed the bit boss to refresh those? Or
I
is that
think
a manual thing?
I think I'm doing away with that, and I'll just refresh it basically once a month, maybe the beginning of the month. So you retire for the evening. You'll have a watch and these kinds of things, but nonetheless you have a peaceful evening as you wake up in the morning and hit the road again. As you're traveling, you're passing by merchants and things like that that are coming up the coast way, and you may give nods to one another as you pass each other on the road. But it is another clear sky, temperate weather, and it's uneventful as evening comes again. And you park yourself, you get off the road a bit, just as you would have the previous evening, and head into the woods a little bit to not make it so obvious that you're just camping right off the road. Keep the bandits at bay and things like that. And once again, you find yourself in a familiar scene. You set up your tents and set up your campfire and things like that. And this evening, Rhea is a little less talkative. She just sits by the fire, gazing into it. The aura of the flame kind of accentuating some of her fiery hair and her freckles. Almost seems like she's elsewhere, contemplative.
Well, that's new for her.
I'll go sit down next to her. Try to, are you feeling all right, dear?
And she just says, "Well, You know, I was thinking about our conversation the other night,
Hmm.
where we all came from, and that's something I thought about in a long time. You know, when I was a little girl, I dreamed of being a hell rider. I think most kids from El Terrell or the neighboring farmlands, like where I was from, we often do. Every young boy, young girl dreams of being a champion, being the defenders of our home. And where I'm from, the Hell Riders did much to help the farmers. When the beacons were lit, they were there. It meant that aid was needed. And there's a lot of dangerous things out that way, especially living on a farm. My brother and I, we often pretended that we were Hell Riders. When we were doing our chores, we would play. I remember one time he even leapt off the haymound, try to jump on me like I was a orc or something. And I remember he broke his leg. Um,
Glad it wasn't
yeah,
yours.
yeah. But it was different time. One day, obviously, my dream came true. I became a Hell Rider, but at a great sacrifice, my parents died
I'm so
in a troll
sorry.
raid. My brother and I, we managed to hide, and we lived. Eventually, the beacon, it was not heated that night, and the Hell Riders found us. I was young. I only barely remember it now, but that tragedy led to the thing that I wanted. My brother wanted as well. We were taken in by the followers of Torm at El Terrell. On my 12th birthday, I was sworn in. I became. I took the oath that we all take, and I held my hand over the tome and accepted the Creed Resolute. And the person that held that book was Thavius Krieg. So, that. I know you think I'm just a country bumpkin, and I can't see that he's obviously corrupted, but I have to believe there's some other explanation. He was like a grandfather to me, to all of us where I'm from.
Well, let me tell you this. I have been around for perhaps longer than I look, and I have been things merchant in my life and had experience with many different types of people, and especially people in power. And I've learned that people are very rarely one thing or the other. You know, people can contain multitudes. And so the man who swore you in and who you looked up to, I'm sure that there is part of him who is that man, but another part who, for reasons that we don't understand yet, thought that he was justified in doing what he's doing. And you have to learn to accept those things and accept that people have dualities and that if the evil is more than you thought or more than you can stand, it's not a reflection of you or what you believed, it's a reflection of them.
Yes, thank you for saying that.
It's true.
Seeing him down there, he was so with that demonic shadow on him, and he was so
Here.
pathetic.
Well, I'll also say this. One thing I have learned above all others is that greed makes you very pathetic. And if I had to bet money, that would be my bet. Is that he's been somehow corrupted by greed or
Then you hear a voice, pathetic indeed!
Oh no.
And you turn around, and maybe about 60 feet back, you see standing there Duke Van Thamper. She's, "Don't worry, my dear. That fool will soon find his morning gruel laced with a little something extra that'll have him laying, sprawled out like the worm that he is at the bottom of his cell." And then you can see she is looking around. You're not just alone with her. You see another man step forward, kind of opposite from her, coming from the south. A man that bears maybe a slight resemblance to his mother. A man dressed completely in black leather with a sinister black goatee. And he's got a couple of knives in hand. And he says, "Where is it? Give us the box."
So Aplos is a little taken by surprise and turns around on instinct and goes, "Oh, Your Excellency, how wonderful to see you. Welcome to my... Oh, no.
Pleasure. We weren't expecting company. Come, sit down. Have some mead.
And he says, "Gladly." And he starts making his way towards you. He's just flipping his daggers. He's clearly very skilled with those things. The one moment here, I'll put some tokens out.
I'm
The
slowly
Duke
reaching for my dagger.
and Amaric kind of notices that, and he's like, "No need. Put it away."
Oh, yes, he is a nobleman. Be polite."
And Duke Van Thamper isn't alone herself. There's a man standing in front of her, a pretty brawny-looking type, wearing leather. And you see her kind of... she's got a cane in hand, and she kind of wraps it on his shoulder and says, "You fool! Go! Get it from them!" And he starts to make his way forward, and I'll put us in initiative because I'm sure this will change at any moment here. But we'll start with Evangeline. What would you like to do?
Should I be seeing a map, by the way?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I only see the map right now too.
I
There.
I didn't show it initially because I was like, if I put this up, they're instantly going to be like, "What's going on?" Here it is.
Someone's coming to get us.
That would be correct.
So I am going to reach down and pull my shiny new crossbow up to ready. Not actually like aiming it, but just, like ready to aim it. And I'm just going to ready my action if things take a quick turn. Also going to say, "I don't know what you're talking about." And try to bide a little time for everyone else to get prepared.
Sounds good. Aplos.
Lord Amric, I do need you to stop there for just a little bit till we sort out what's going on. And as he's doing that, he pulls his great sword into his hands, because his shield's over there, and he's got the sort of still holding the tent rope. He's like, "I don't want to let this go just yet, but, well, I've seen what you can do. I remember you were very good at the knife toss." And he sort of starts babbling, but he'll get his great sword together, and he'll kind of step in front of the others and take a dodge action.
All right. I'm kind of thinking that this is happening simultaneously with what is happening here, because Amaric is like staring right at Laurel, almost like hungrily looking at him, very sinister. And as he moves forward, Apples, you step in the way, and he's ready to kind of dispatch with you almost immediately. He just takes a couple swings with those daggers.
So rude.
Disadvantage. And Nuthouse just redeemed award inspiration. Woo! Let us know who you'd like to give that to, Nuthouse. So the first attack is a 13.
That'll miss.
The second attack, a 7.
Woo!
All right, that one. Third attack is...
Wait, 3?
Oh, my
3.
goodness.
He's got one in each hand. And he's just swinging away.
Oh, come on now. This is
But
very
you're
rude.
maybe your new armor is already getting scullied up a bit, but it protects you.
Just polish that.
And Rhea immediately stands up. She kind of breaks from her daydreaming or her wistfulness, and she picks up her sword and strides forward. And she says, "You will not You will not get one drop of blood from my friend." And she swings and hits with a 22. 9 points of damage right off the bat from Rhea. I feel like she was doing like really well in the last adventure too. And not so much on the next one. He manages to, now that he has regained his awareness of what is happening, he dodges out of that second strike by Rhea. Laurel, it is your turn. Evangeline, you have inspiration from the chat.
Ooh, thank you.
So I'm going to go ahead and whip out my, let's see. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and just stand up, brush myself off, gently place the bottle of mead down on the ground, and just basically spend just a split second making myself look really prim and proper. And I'll go ahead and use the Mantle of Inspiration. So as a bonus action, let's see, what is my charisma modifier? Let me check that. 4. So I will give everybody 5 temporary hit points. And then all of you can immediately use your reaction to move up to your speed without getting a opportunity attack. So I will just go ahead and tap Bryn and just kind of almost go to give her a shove towards Van Thamper.
Which Van Thamper?
Oh, well, true. There's 2 of them. The Duke.
Okay.
Because she's a little ways away, but I'll just go ahead and give you a little bit of a slap. Give me a boost.
Aplos just leans back and sort of like shoulders into you, like, "Aw."
So that's my bonus action, and then for my action, I think I will go ahead and ready an attack with my rapier. Just I'll ready the dodge action. And that'll be my turn.
All right. Imp. Is the imp out?
The imp is out.
Yeah,
Right.
Imp's out by the fire.
Imp is out. Still yet to be named. But Imp will just stick around with. Yeah, we'll just call him Imp some.
Yeah.
Imp some.
Sounds good.
See that, Twitch? You missed your opportunity. You could have named the NPC.
Right.
Right.
Where's Paul? So at this point,
since he
Go
ran
ahead.
by me, can I shoot him with my action since it's readied, or does that not count since he didn't like disengage, just kind of like shot by me and came into range?
I'm sorry, I forgot what your ready action.
Oh, I just have my crossbow ready.
You want to shoot Amric?
Yeah.
Yeah, take a shot.
All right.
Whoa, that hits.
Ooh.
And you're rogue, I want to say.
Yes, I am. So it
you'll
should get a
sneak
sneak
attack.
attack. Yes, which I haven't actually put on myself yet. I don't think.
Oh, I think you got it maybe twice.
Did I? Oops.
Let me just
Pick one out.
check. Oh, no, I don't see any.
Okay. Now?
There it is. Yep.
All right. There we go.
That can't be right. I think it should be 2d6, or I'll make a quick change. Go ahead and roll the damage. It'll
All right.
be
I'll go ahead and
correct.
roll it, and we can figure out.
Ooh, ouch.
Get him.
That'll teach you.
All right, it should be fixed now. So 15 points of damage. So a crossbow bolt goes piercing through his fine leather jacket that he is wearing, and you can see crimson red starting to drip down its glossy hide. Then it is Duke Van Thamper's turn, and she's going to shoot an Eldritch Blast at she can see Lorem is directing traffic here. I was trying to remember like who is she like after in the previous one, but that's who she's gonna go for. So first strike hits.
Is that with a disadvantage because I took the dodge action?
Oh, you took the dodge action.
Yeah, I readied the dodge action.
So a 17 or a 21.
Yeah, I think both of those hit. Yeah.
So she hits for 10 points of damage.
Oof.
And then her second one is a 12, which misses.
Yes.
And then she's gonna sees no reason to be so up close and personal. Steps back and is gonna let her thug charge forward. And he goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. He just charges forward and is right up by you, Bryn.
Oh man.
And then it's your turn.
All right. Let's see. All right. Well, I guess she'll take her dagger out. And bonus, what is this? Bonus action cast Hex on him, I guess. Actually, no, she's just gonna attack with the dagger.
That's right. Fight the stereotype of warlocks.
Yeah,
Just do
fight the stereotype of warlocks. This is gonna go great.
Mhm.
You have 5 temporary hit points.
Yeah, I do.
That one misses.
All right. Then item interaction. She'll draw her second one out.
Stab it again.
Stab it again.
it.
Oh, this is great. Okay.
Rhea's rethinking some things. She's rethinking that conversation. They've never done this before.
Never done this before. She's gonna back out. Take that attack of opportunity, I guess.
All right. We'll take it. Swings. 22 hits.
Ouch.
And 4 points of damage.
Oh, we're good.
He had some cushion there. He still got a little bit. And then, out of nowhere, I'm sure you saw it when I initially put it on, but from these woods, this spined devil comes flying out. It's got a little fork in its hands, and it's fluttering around, kind of gazing about the battlefield, trying to figure out where it's going to stick that weapon of its, and it's going to move right over to Evangeline and harass you a bit.
Bad devil. That's a bad devil.
So first, it's going to try to hit you with the fork.
Oh no.
It's just kind of it's kind of got this like a large mosquito just hovering over you. You dodge out of the way, and then it lunges forward, trying to grab at you with a bite attack.
Oh no.
That'll hit.
Oh, that gets me. Yeah.
6 points.
Ouch.
And then it's your chance to reply.
Oh, you little monster! And I am going to hit it back. And I'm going to hit it with my rapier.
That's a hit.
All right.
11 points of damage, and as you strike into this, you're recalling your battle with that other devilish creature down below Van Thamper's Manor. You know that your weapon is doing some damage and wounding it, but it seems very resistant to the cut of its blade.
Okay. And I am going to use my bonus action to give help to Aplos and just say, just stick him right where the joints are, Aplos.
Oh,
That's it.
the joints.
Yes.
Sounds good. Aplos, you've got advantage on your attack roll against Amric.
Sure do. So I will bonus action divine favor upon myself. So you'll see his greatsword glows and little spiny bits of the thorns enlarge. And then he will attack with advantage with his greatsword at Amric.
That's
And
a
he
hit.
hits.
Nice.
Let me just check one thing real quick.
Okay. Should I drop damage or not?
Go ahead and drop damage. I just had to look at it. There was an ability that he had that I was like, can he use this here? No, he can't. All right. Ooh, he's starting to look worn down a little bit already, stumbling back a bit.
And we will, as he starts to stumble back, we will smite him. Because I'm pretty sure I can do that. And that will add an extra 2d8 damages to him.
Wow.
That's
Which I don't-
harsh.
Coded, so I'm just going to roll that.
You could just drop it in there. Another 10 on
An extra
top.
10 for him. This is what comes of being rude. Bonk.
Yeah, and he's kind of coughing up blood. You like hit him right in the sternum. He's just like, "Ah, you son of a bitch!" And he comes.
My mother was a
charging.
saint.
Dagger, face forward. Let's see. He gets a critical hit. He draws first blood, but it's absorbed quite a bit. He takes a second stabby stab, trying to get on the offense. 23 to hit. Gets you in the side, and then tries to get you one more time if he can. An overhand, but that one hits like the pauldrons of your new armor.
And my shiny glowy sword goes, whew. Oh.
Rhea. Oh. Did you have something?
No, just I lost concentration.
Gotcha. Rhea taking a couple of swings. First one is a 19 to hit. 5 points. Second attack, a 22 to hit. And 10 points to Amric, who's just barely standing up, but he's trying to like muster up one more barrage of attacks. Lorem, it is your turn.
So, seeing how these two have that particular scoundrel handled, I'm just going to turn around and look at the barbed devil, and I'm just going to raise my finger and start whispering in Infernal to it and cast Dissonant Whispers.
All right.
Oh, no, don't drag the window, drag the thing.
It succeeds.
Okay, so it will take half the damage here. I gotta remember how to use Fantasy Grounds.
You see it kind of like bugging out a little bit, its head kind of bobbing about. You can tell you've had some kind of effect, although its attention is still drawn towards Evangeline.
Did that that didn't calculate the half damage? So that would be do we round up 4
Sweet.
points of damage? Or 5?
4 points. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for catching that.
Yep.
All right.
And that will be I'm pretty safe behind the mountain of armor that is Apo, so I'll just stay right there.
Imp's turn.
All right, Impslim's gonna use his action to go invisible and then chill with me.
Sounds good. The Duke. She steps back out to here. Maybe to here. Gets a line on Laurel. Takes a couple of shots with Eldritch Blast. First one is a 24. This big wave of hits right into your side and kind of winds you. She follows up with a second one, following right behind. But that one, in your winded state, you're able to kind of dodge out of the way as it goes flying past and hits a tree. With her remaining movement, she just moves back. She's kind of like cowering behind some of this tree cover, but even still, you can see her. She's just like half cover right there. This thug that's over by Evangeline, I think it was kind of chasing Bryn, but I was going to see that's got the spine devil there, and he's just a toady, so he's gonna go be a bully and gang up on you.
I figured.
And he's got some pack tactics, so he's gonna start whamming on you with the mace. But the first one misses. Second one is also a miss. Yes, he's very much a toady. Stormtrooper. He can't hit. Bryn, it is your turn.
All right, now to fall into the warlock stereotypes.
Boom.
So bonus action, I'm gonna cast Hex on the Spine Devil.
All right.
And then I'm gonna drop one of my daggers and cast Eldritch Blast on the Spine Devil.
That's a hit.
Yay. So damage. And then did it not add?
It didn't add the D6.
All right.
You just tossed a D6 into the chat.
I think you put the hex on yourself because it looks like you gave the spine devil extra damage.
Oh, got it.
Ew.
Yep, that's what happened.
Okay.
Catch.
My bad.
That's all right. You can put it on yourself for next time and just roll a D6 into the chat for this round.
Okay.
Extra 4 points on top. It's not looking so great. But it becomes its turn, and it's lashing out at Evangeline. It's got this spiny tail that it's whipping around, trying to graze into your flesh. The first one is a 13, so you managed to dodge out of the way of that. The second one is a 22, and you can feel it kind of bursts. There's like an explosion of flame that like kind of blinds you momentarily as you take a mix of piercing and fire damage. And then, Evangeline, it is your turn. And something I want to mention, you did get inspiration from the chat. If you attack with inspiration, you'll have advantage and you could get sneak attack that way.
All right, let's do that. Let's hit that with my advantage. And I'm going to do sneak attack and oops, hold on. Advantage.
$18 hits.
All right.
And that's enough. You strike at it with your rapier, pokes right through its chest, and you just see it's kind of like flaming dissolve kind of thing as it like just burns up upon itself and is a pile of ash at your feet.
Awesome. And then I'm going to use my disengage. I can't remember what it's called, but I have something that lets me disengage on a bonus action.
Sure.
To cunning action, I think. Yeah. I'm going to
Yeah.
disengage and move over this way. And that's it.
Sounds good. Aplos, it is your turn.
Aplos will swing the great sword at Amric. He's going to miss. As a bonus action, he's going to say darn. And that'll be it.
And he's barely conscious, but he's just on adrenaline, slashing forward. Miss. Oops. Sorry. Take that back, Aplos. Wrong dice. Second attack is 19, or keep it.
Okay, I'll just leave it alone.
And then third attack is a 20, which hits, and you take this many. Another 7 points.
That does not feel good.
Rhea is kind of moves to the back here. She's trying to reposition herself to maybe to like knock him down. And 22 hits. And she runs her sword through him and tosses him to the ground. He goes down. She moves. Gets up to this thug here and takes a second swing. A 14 hits. 6 points of damage. Laurel, it is your turn.
Well, now that my back is covered, I will just give Aplos a tap, and then I'm going to 1, 4, 5 here. And then as I pass by, I go, thank you. And then I'm going to, do I have a line of sight on Van Thamper, the dude?
You do.
Here?
She just has she has a little bit of cover, but you can definitely see her.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and again point and do the same thing and whisper in infernal at her.
All right.
All right, and that's half. So I don't know why it's not half. Oh, it did have
It
that
did.
time.
It did that time. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect. You can see her kind of twitch a little bit as she's conjuring up the next spell.
All right, and then that was my. Yeah, that is going to be everything for my turn since I already cast a spell.
All right, Imp.
Bryn says, Impson, give us some help. And she's going to command him to go to the thug and use the help action.
For Rhea?
Yeah. For grant her advantage, I guess. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Duke Van Thamper kind of steps out from the tree cover here. Draw her out a bit. She's going to take a couple shots at Laurel. Eldritch Blast. First one misses. Second one also misses. You've kind of learned kind of her timing. She hasn't been too. She's just trying to overpower you with blast after blast. You just dodge. This thug over here doesn't like the predicament that he's currently in. There's not a whole lot he can do. He's trying to deal with Rhea. First attack is a miss. Second attack, a 20. So puts a little bit of damage on Rhea. Hits her upside the head. Bryn, it is your turn.
All right. I'm going to move my hex to the thug. So do I put the effect on the thug then?
The effect for damage you put on yourself.
Okay.
It's kind of weird.
Like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it looks like it works.
And then I'm going to attack.
That'll hit.
Yay.
All right, 6 points of damage to the thug. Kind of taken aback.
That'll be my turn.
Evangeline, it is your turn.
All right. I am going to take a shot at Duke Van Temper. Boo boo. Oops, with the wrong thing. Hold on. Oof. Not quite. But I will give help to I'll give help to Bryn and just tell Bryn, hey, focus on the Duke. Like this thug's gonna run away if things get hairy if she goes down. And that's my turn.
Sounds good. Aplos, before you is the crumpled up body of Amric who just fell down, but it only takes a few seconds to realize that there's kind of like the smoke that is like drifting up as you see he's like kind of in agony as he's dying. He's crying out, "Mother! Mother!" And he's just kind of like dissolving, like his body is in acid or something. He's just dissolving and like he's almost like transforming into this small like worm like creature. And it's just you feel like he's being like eaten up by the earth as this pathetic whimpering creature just becomes this small little thing. It's just in this heap of ooze and this hazy, gross vapor is rising up off of it.
Oh. Well, my mother did say that would happen if you're rude when you go over to someone else's campsite, but I thought she was exaggerating. And he's beat up and he's sort of like just watching this like, ugh. And then he turns and he looks around and he looks at the thug and he starts getting ready to trudge over in that direction. And then anyone who's glancing in his direction just sees him smile huge. And he turns and he runs the other way towards the tents. And you hear him go, "Come along, Admiral!" And then he comes thundering out on his draft horse towards the thug. With his great sword, and he's leaning off the side of the saddle in a very ungainly fashion as he swings on this thug with his great sword.
Sounds good.
And,
Amazing.
That's a hit.
Nice.
And yes, he's like dangling off. It's a bad hit, but it's a hit.
You picked the right target for such a grandiose attack.
And he will upgrade this grandiose attack and make the smite happen. So he'll put everything into it. He's coming off the horse if he needs to. 12 more?
12 more. Where are you? Oh, that's exactly what you need.
Yeah!
He goes flying. Your strike underhand, like almost like base pickleball, like right? He goes flying and like hits a nearby tree, drops down unconscious. No dissolving or anything. Is just a hired guy. He's just out.
And I feel Aplos ends up
Amazing.
like over here, like being dragged along by the horse as he's like off the side. But that'll be it. I did it!
You did it!
Rhea just kind of like takes a moment and is sword under arm, golf clap. And then she's right back at it. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. She just charges forward to meet the Duke. Laurel, it is your turn.
I am getting sick and tired of this woman, and I'm just going to do a little flourish with my hand and kind of as if I'm making a lightning bolt in the air, and I'm going to go ahead and cast Shatter on right behind Van Thamper, the Duke, so it'll get her, but it won't hit Rhea.
Nice.
Did I do it? No, I didn't do it. Fine. Yes! Finally! All right, so that is 3d8.
Ooh, it's a
Good
good roll,
points. Nice.
Nice.
All right. And this loud booming sound just completely blows over the campsite. as it explodes behind her, and I'm just sitting there nodding like, good, it's what you deserve. And then I'll go ahead and like duck in here, kind of hide behind some bush, get a little bit of cover, and that will be my turn.
Sorry.
No.
Imp, it is your turn.
Boop. Help action. Rhea.
All right. The Duke. She can see that the battle is turning against her, but retrieving this puzzle box seems very, very important to her. And her gaze is drawn towards Rhea, and she says, You have it, don't you, my pretty? And she puts her hands together to. It's going to be at disadvantage, but she has no choice but to try to win out this fight. And she hits with a 20, dealing 11 points of damage to Rhea. Second attack. Ooh, avoids the crit. There was a 1 and a 20 in there. Bryn, it is your turn.
And you have help, to remind you. There's your double help.
Mute.
Sorry. I'm within 120 feet, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Yeah. No! Oh, wait.
You have help.
Right?
You have help, so it should be an advantage, right?
Oh, thank
Yep.
goodness.
Yep. Roll again.
Goodness.
All right, that's a hit.
Hey!
I thought you meant the other Duke Emperor. Sorry. There we go.
Ooh, ouch.
15 points. She makes something happen as you hit. Something that you probably know, Bryn. You see flames kind of like she looks in your direction. Hellish rebuke.
Oh no!
You fail.
Oh no!
14 points of fire damage. And then, anything else, Bryn?
Yeah, she's gonna hide in a tent.
Woo!
Recuperate in a tent.
Yeah.
All right. So I am going to shoot at her with my sneak attack since our friend is over there. And
That is a hit. And sneak attack
Yay.
on there.
all right.
18 points. Ooh.
Nice. And then I am going to tell Aplos, give Aplos help, and say, just stab her in the throat, Aplos. That's it.
Aplos, you're on a steed. I think you're in a position to potentially stab in said throat.
I am. So Aplos is like, oh yes, and he sort of rights himself and come along, Admiral, and he gets Admiral. I forget Admiral's full name. We had a long conversation on the road, as I can do speak with animals. It's Admiral Longshanks Eustace Longface III. And as we go galloping along, I sort of have my greatsword couched like a lance in a completely improper fashion. But maybe it'll work. Who knows? I do have advantage, I think.
She has a very low AC, so I think you might have this. Just
Yep,
no double ones or anything like that. You should be fine.
All right. Oh, I can't. Wait. The map's not working with me. She's too far to the right.
Oh.
Boom.
That's
That's
a
not
hit.
double ones. This is a hit. And then we will do damage. Wow. Not much though.
There's where we almost had double ones.
She has a very meaty throat.
Rhea.
She's almost all shoulder to jowl. There's not a lot. have you considered some sort of gorget or maybe a pendant that would accentuate the yes? My mother will kill me. And that's
Rhea says, "It's fine. It's fine. Just keep her there. Keep her held by her meaty throat." And she takes a couple of swings. She moves to the backside to kind of take a couple of swings. First slash, 20 will hit. 10 points. Duke is still on her feet. Rhea just throws down her shield, grabs the sword with two hands, takes a second swing. 23 hits. And that's what I was wondering if that would happen. So she rolls, batter swing. She cleaves right through Van Thamper's torso, just like Darth Maul. She just kind of like flops over. And even still, like she's still like alive, and you can see her like she's trying to cast like an Eldritch Blast yet again. But before she can complete that, you see this like ring of flame just kind of open up behind her, and you see these two eyes on a balding face kind of reach out in this hellscape background, reach out and grab her and pull her through the portal as she goes screaming. The portal closes up and she's gone.
Did both halves get dragged or just one?
Her legs are still there, evidence of her failure here.
Oh. Hmm.
oh,
This is gonna return, and I can just feel it.
I don't think I'll ever be rude coming up to someone else's campsite again after this.
Ugh. I mean, good riddance. Did you see that man with the knives? That was the very definition of a villain.
Well, he was
Yeah, a
actually.
little obvious.
I mean, it was very dashing when he would do it at the winter festivals.
The bit camp.
Well, they all are a bit.
Well,
It was a little much, there's black and then there's just too much black.
Yes, agreed. Thank you.
so I'll step out from behind the brush, just kind of dusting myself off, which is consequently just kind of like smearing a little bit of red with it because I'm hurting pretty bad.
Aplos is like closing little wounds on himself as he rides over. He's like, "Oh, that's a bit of a bad one, and that's a bit of a bad one."
As you're all
And-
kind of taking stock of, where you're at health-wise, maybe patching each other up, casting any healing spells you have, Rhea just kind of returns back to the fire, and she looks shook after what just happened. She's kind of like trembling a bit.
Miss Bryn, you've got a bit of a blood thing going on. Would you like me to just? I can.
Yes, please.
And he'll heal 8 points from lay on hands.
Awesome.
And I'll go around to Rhea and just kind of like pat her and be like, Are you okay, sweetheart?
Did you see that landscape and that portal?
No, I was over here, sweetie. I couldn't really see anything was going on over there.
I swear, I know that place. Do you know where the Hell Riders get their name?
Of course. I mean, everyone does.
Hell?
Yes.
Aplos.
It is a very literal name ascribed to our group from our origins. An event that happened over a century past, when the Knights of El Terrell were led by an angel that came to us in a very dark time. Entity that seemed to be an omen of Torm's blessing. She rounded us up. She helped us to put down many of the problems in our neighboring lands. Fiendish things that attacked us. She rounded us up, and she prepared us for what she called a grand crusade to Avernus. The city's cavalry followed her through a gate into that unnatural world. Zariel declared that we would see victory over the fiendish things on the other side. But Zariel was defeated. The remnants of her army returned to El Terrell. No, that is our lineage comes from those that came back from that failed conquest.
Well, I'm not sure why you would want to conquer hell. It's not a very nice place to be. But I'm sure you tried very hard, and you can always try again.
Well, it isn't my ambition. It's something I've read about, and to see it here, I don't know what to make of it.
So are you
Well,
saying that the Duke, she was dragged into hell?
Oh
So,
yes.
Huh. Well, good riddance. We're not going anywhere there anytime soon.
Yes,
I mean,
agreed.
if anyone deserves it, I would say, like blowing up a city for whatever sick purpose you have. She had what's coming.
Well, parties though.
Aplos, sweetheart. She wasn't a good person.
No.
Even if her parties were good, she was a bad person.
A little good though.
Uh,
Making good croissants does not make someone a little good.
Oh, it makes them very good.
Oh, you're very good.
Croissants are very tricky. I can only do scones.
Rhea, not in the mood to try to figure out whether there was a hint of good in the Duke at all. She says, "I'm tired. I'm retiring to my tent."
Would anyone care to help me to see if the Duke and her son and that other fellow had any horses or other things? We shouldn't leave them about in the wilds. They'll get eaten.
Sure.
So, and there isn't much to really recover off the son, who is just kind of goo
Worm
on the
feed.
wormy excess. There's just kind of the lower half of the Duke there, but upon the body of the toady there, he was carrying a little pouch, small bag of coin that'll equal about 150 gold pieces, and I can put that on our party sheet here to be shared at the end, or divide it up however you wish.
As the leader of our gay band of adventurers here, I will go ahead and take that for safekeeping.
It's fine.
I believe if you go into the party sheet and just kind of pull it off of there onto your own sheet, it should distribute.
Yeah, I always forget how to get to the party sheet. Which of these icons is it?
I'm going to take us on a real short break here for about 5 minutes while we kind of sort out some housekeeping things and bio break and such. We'll be right back, though. Plenty yet left in our game, so don't go away.
We lived!
We did.
Welcome back, everyone. We just take a short break here. Our adventurers here, they just dealt with a foe that they are familiar with, Duke Van Thamper, and one of her sons. It would seem that the cargo that they are carrying, this puzzle box, was of the utmost interest to them, and their primary reason for trying to accost the group in the middle of their camp. But they have been defeated, and a few of them, namely the Duke's son and herself, had expired in a very interesting way, both of them. And in the Duke's case, it seems that maybe she directly was. I don't know. Maybe this is forewarning to Bryn. Don't die. Because if you make a deal with something very, very powerful, it might bring you to their location, and you may
She
not
and I
like it. Black Cloak wouldn't do that to you,
Nah.
would he? No.
I do feel we were being a little hard on Ray for signing a contract that wasn't read thoroughly. That seemed like something that's just the way this party does.
Yeah. The theme.
So, that was day 2. The rest of your journey towards Candlekeep is uninterrupted. And so over the course of the following days, the weather on the coastway starts to worsen towards the end of your journey. Dark clouds release heavy rain until the road runs thick with mud. Yet your horses and you trudge on, passing by merchants like you have been, heading north to Baldur's Gate. On the morning of the 5th day, the rain subsides. The dark clouds remain. Ahead, you can see a path that branches from the wider road, heading to the sea. A raven perches solemnly on a leaning post bearing 2 signs that point like arms towards the west. One says the way of the lion, and the other says towards Candlekeep. You follow along, and this takes you into afternoon. The sun shines through the clouds to illuminate a sky that on the horizon you can see past to your destination. The time-worn fortress of Candlekeep stands majestically on this outcropping of rock that overlooks the sea. And the trail that you were on leads straight towards its gatehouse.
So we'll just waltz right up.
So
Those
you
birds look very large.
I'm sorry, is that a ship?
I believe it is.
Just kind of perched there.
Yeah, I don't remember what that is, but it's in the illustration, so it must be important.
Yeah.
I like the decor. It's very eclectic.
Well, Candlekeep is right up against the actual ocean, so I wonder if that was literally just tossed and crashed on
Yeah,
top
well,
of
you know,
Candlekeep.
If we learned anything from Isle of Dread, those rocks up there, those large birds, they probably just bloop. This is our nest. So you begin to approach, and at the gatehouse you are greeted by 3 monks in purple robes: a human, a shield dwarf, and a sun elf. Around their necks hang holy symbols of Denir, their god, the god of writing. The symbol is a lit candle above an open eye. The elf speaks to you in common and says, "Welcome to Candlekeep. A gift is required from those seeking admittance. You must donate a book or scroll that isn't already in our library. Please present your gift so that we can collect it for inspection."
I will have ridden up with Rhea next to me, and I'll kind of turn to Rhea and hold my hand out for. I'm assuming we're keeping this puzzle cube in a bag of some sorts.
Mm-hmm.
And she gives you the puzzle cube.
I will. I'll keep it in its bag and kind of hop down from my horse and kind of approach the monk and go, "We bring a gift of a different kind," and I'll kind of just like open it for him and not really hand it to him, just let him look at it. Will we give it a name of who we were supposed to deliver this to?
Yes, it would say. Rhea would know that it is Silvira Savicus that you are here to see.
Yeah, so we bring this at the request of Silvira.
He says, "Well, that may be, but I doubt that you are handing this item to me, and it is our tradition."
Oh,
What? I have this. I have this. I'm I don't know if your book on horses will quite cut it.
Well, it's a good book. It's How to
It's-
Ride Like Hell.
It-
It's the latest edition.
I will go ahead and reach into my back, and I will pull out the Umber spell book that I got off one of the cultists.
So you pull out this book, the one that was kind of a little bit burned up, had some kind of a personal rune embedded in it, and they kind of pass it around, and each of them is inspecting it, and you can see like the shield dwarf takes a look and is flipping through it, and he gives a nod, passes it to the human. They open it up, looks through it, nods. Welcome to Candlekeep, and he steps aside and allows you your way in. So as you pass through the gatehouse, you are have all these spires and towers that tower above you. There's kind of a little bit of like a maybe where a lot of the common folk or the workers or the people are just stopping through. There's a pub and an inn and a place to stable your horses and things like that. But it seems that you are expected, because as you make your way in, you see a familiar face, your other comrade that you met down in the estate of the Van Thampers, Fallister Fisk. The monk is just standing. He is a Calamshite man. You guess maybe in his early 50s. He has a dyed crimson beard, dark hair, and he is wearing a long flowing robe. And he says, well, it seems you are moving up in the world.
Ah, Fallister. Good to see a friendly face.
Or is it that you've committed another crime that those flaming fists are holding over your head?
Not this time. No, this time it's actually legal on paper. And I'll point to, I have the contract like in a little spell case on my belt.
And he kind of beams a bit, and he says, well done. How your fortunes have changed. You know, I never did give you a chance. I never did get the chance to thank you for busting me out of there.
Ah, well, that's the least we could have done.
Yeah. And if we had more time, in different time, I'd probably take you over to the hearth and buy you a round or three. But
Yeah,
I think
there's
you've
always
got
a-
something.
I got
that
something, and drinks can wait, but I'll take you up on that offer in the future.
Yes, my friend Silvira was expecting you.
Yes.
She sent me down here to meet you.
Yes. Suppose shouldn't keep her waiting.
Right this way. Follow me. And you make some small talk. You stable the horses and things like that. And he takes you up through the city along a road that kind of follows the curvatures of the earthen path up to a tower. Takes you in, and very soon you are climbing with him up kind of a circular staircase up this tower. It brings you into a chamber where arched windows are cut into the walls, all of them currently shuttered. Bookcases are... The whole room is filled with them. Eldritch volumes upon volumes upon volumes. Tables are crowded with specimens in jars, weird, different consistencies of liquid and colors and eyeballs and jars and all sorts of the things of wizards. And engraved in the floor of this chamber that you are in is a large 9-pointed star. And there is a middle-aged tiefling dressed in wizardly robes who stands by one of the windows, caught in a fugue of intense contemplation, as if she's puzzling over some enchantment, some formula or something, and she's just missing one piece of it. She's almost kind of whispering to herself. And perched on the corner of a table nearby her is a spindly little demon with warty green skin, buggy eyes, and thin black horns, a whip-like tail, a quasit. And she doesn't turn to look at you, but you can see maybe some consciousness come into her eyes. She doesn't turn, but she just says, "Ah, I can't tell you how pleased I am to see you," she says. "What have you brought me? Is it here?"
Yes, and I will go ahead and walk up and hold out the cube for her.
And she kind of is fumbling around on the table, kind of knocking objects over until she grabs like this kind of spyglass kind of thing that telescopes, and she pulls it out and she starts examining it. I see. This is the box. This is the one that Thavius had on him?
Yes, and some people went to great lengths to try to get it back while on our way here.
I see. I've long been suspicious of the High Overseer, but no one has ever wanted to hear my concerns until now. He's widely received as a hero, and you can see Rhea is in the corner, kind of nodding her head solemnly. Okay, so, let us see, yes. Thavius made all of his citizens pledge an oath called the Creed Resolute, which binds them to defend the nation of Eltergard. I met him years ago, and my instincts told me that he was a charlatan. I could read right through him. Afterward, I grew to suspect that he had cut a deal with Devil, some kind of infernal being. And I think that this puzzle cube will give us an answer once and for all. And she's snapping at that closet. Hey, over there. The manticore blood. No. Not that. That's the chimera blood. I need manticore. Yes. And the closet grabs this bottle of black fluid that it's like holding in its like pincers and brings it over to her. And she says, "Ah." And you see her uncork that. She says, "Let's prove my theory." And she starts to pour that into the little crevices of the maze pattern on the outside.
No, it's funny. I always thought those little things were evil.
She says, "They can be trained. This one's, we spent a month house breaking them."
You don't say.
Yeah.
Bryn looks at Imsum.
And he just kind of like hides behind one of the bookshelves and is like, "No." So let me put up the image here. As she does all of this, you see the puzzle box cracks open, and there's just kind of like these letters, infernal. If you speak infernal, you'll recognize the patterns of the symbols that are kind of floating about in the air, and this whole thing kind of rises up on itself, floating just a few inches over the table, and this strange looking I guess collapsible, like the Jacob's Ladder kind of toy. Like it looks like that, but it's made of metal plates, and it's got some kind of, it almost looks, Bryn, very much like the contract that you signed. A little bit different verbiage, but this is some kind of infernal contract that you are looking at. That is floating there.
I immediately cast Comprehend Languages and just start like almost, I go to reach like I want to just snatch one of these pieces of papers out of the air to read it, but I don't. But I'm like trying to like catch glimpses of things as they whip past.
See, it would have been fine if we opened it.
So you can very easily read what is imprinted on here, and I'm going to pop it in the chat. You go ahead and read it out loud for us. Oops, sorry, wrong one. Here you go.
Okay.
Nope, that's still the wrong one.
Yeah. I was like, you already read that one.
I've been following along in my book, not Fantasy Ground, so where the hell is it?
Wait, are you saying you're not making this up spontaneously?
No, not at all. Oh, I thought they would have given me Sorry, I guess they don't have a handout. This is what it says, though. It says,
read it. It's just narrating what happened. What kind of time magic is this?
I know. Be it known to all that I, Thavius Krieg, High Overseer of El Terrell, have sworn to my master Zariel, Lord of Avernus, to keep the agreements contained in this oath. I hereby submit to Zariel in all matters and for all time. I will place her above all creatures, living and dead. I will obey her all my days and beyond with fear and servility. I recognize the dispensation of this device called the solar insidiator, hereafter called the Companion. In my capacity as High Overseer of El Terrell and its vassal territories, I acknowledge that all lands falling under the light of the Companion are forfeit to Zariel. All persons bound by oath to defend El Terrell are also considered forfeit. I further recognize that this dispensation will last 50 years, after which the Companion will return whence it came, taking El Terrell and its oath-bound defenders with it, if that is Zariel's wish. All this is my everlasting pledge. And Lorem, as you read that out loud, you just see Rhea crumple to the ground, sobbing, realizing what has happened to her people and what may one day happen to her as a result of her pledge.
Well, I suppose that could be a bit surprising, though it sounded like you knew your company was formed to make an attack on Avernus, which is the name for the hell. So I don't understand why it's so surprising to you now.
She says,
Apples. Context clues.
Zariel is an angel. Why?
I'll kind of get down on my knees and kind of put my arm around her and.
Well, my people have historically never been totally clear on what you little folk feel about angels and such.
And Silvira kind of steps in here, and she's just puts a hand on Aplos' shoulder. She's a logically minded person herself, but she's like trying to decipher some of this for Aplos. She's like, yeah, angels, and Zariel is a very interesting angel because they usually stay out of affairs of the infernal kind. I think this angel, though, is very special to the people of El Terrell. Promising them help, being a living symbol of their deity, Torm.
Well, I can see that. But this just seems like a normal term of service.
Here, let me put this into perspective for you, Aplos. I want you to imagine your favorite baker back home.
Yes.
And how you absolutely adore them, and you would do anything to make sure that they could get their, croissants out in the morning.
Oh,
and
yes.
now I want you to imagine that particular baker not only stopped making croissants, but did it specifically because they didn't want it to sell to you anymore.
Oh, that would be silly.
But it would feel devastating, would it not?
It would.
Yeah, that's what this feels like. So attacked.
Yes. Well, so if El Terrell is now in Avernus, and the Duke was in El Terrell, Mr. Lorem, would you get that contract out?
Yes, I will take that out, and I will just roll it out and let it fall down, and I will just start reading through it frantically, looking. Was deliver the box.
Oh,
400
They can't expect us to.
400 gold per head.
Doesn't say that they don't expect you to.
Well, this is good news, though. This means we can help the people of El Turel, as like a side quest.
Rescue a city from hell. It's quite the side quest.
It says dead or alive. Does the clause specifically say we need to recover his corpse if he's dead? Or can we just declare him dead?
That's usually the implication, but
Yeah, I think it would say in there that if he has died, you are supposed to take every action that you can to return his body so that he can have a proper send off.
it's kind of been sent, though, right? I mean,
Oh, he wasn't a bad. I mean, they're not all bad dukes. At least
maybe.
30%.
Did you go to parties at his house too, sweetie?
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Fish bakes
Okay.
mostly.
Okay, so I need you to understand something. I'm going to tell you something. And maybe me telling you this, maybe it'll make you kind of empathize with our friend over here. Everyone whose house you went to for a party is a bad person. All of them. They're all bad. They're all bad people.
Bad people throw the best parties.
They
That's
do.
the worst part of it.
It is true.
Oh.
It is true.
Well, my
That's
parents were saying something along those lines, but I think they'll come around in the end.
I don't know. So
Duke Van Thamper looked very regretful about what she had done as she was being pulled into hell.
No, that was more of the fear of being pulled into hell.
I
the
sensed
lack of
regret.
legs. I think it was the legs.
Which is, I'd like to point out what we're talking about right now. Are we planning on? There's no way, right?
There can't be. They don't. This was not written with that expectation. I mean, no one can go and retrieve someone from hell and make it back.
Oh, there are many, many stories.
I mean, the hell
I have a
rides
book
is-
right here.
They did come out of hell. So I obviously you can come back from hell. But
Rhea stands as you start talking about this, and she kind of like pulls herself together and she says, "My brother is still there. My neighbors would have still been there. I made the same pledge. If Zariel wants my soul, she's going to have to take it from me." And she's looking at the tiefling. "Tell us how we get there."
oh, feisty little one.
We're gonna have to go over the finer points of your pledge later.
You can see Silvira is kind of thinking about this as you're discussing what you all feel about it, but Rhea seems resolved.
Oh, and
She's
Rhea, your
going.
baker would be there.
She says, "You're right."
Oh. Is 20,000 gold worth going to hell?
Silvira
Might be going to hell
says,
early.
Well, it seems like this one wants to go. If that is the way you want to go, if you want to deal with this, someone has to get to the bottom of what is going on, where El Turel went, and why. We have to bring those people back. I don't know if you're necessarily the ones for it, but there is a way. I know someone that could get you there.
I am just so caught up on how we keep saying we need to bring these people back.
Yes.
I want to reiterate the part that I read where everyone in El Turel was already forfeit. If we bring them back, that won't change their fate.
Oh, no, I think it was only the land and those who gave oath. The others were just kind of brought along for the ride.
Well, if that's the case, And oh, 20,000.
Oh, think about it this way, Mr. Lorem. You're not being paid 20,000 gold to go to hell. You're being paid 20,000 gold to get out of hell. That's a good thing.
Yes,
How many people are we talking about that were inadvertently sent to hell?
I don't know.
Ballpark figures?
Probably about 50,000.
Not even a gold person, really. I mean, really, we should be asking for more.
Yeah, Evangeline, you're right here. This is not a decision anyone can make at the moment here. And I'll turn to Silvira, and I'll go. Would it be possible to get some lodging for perhaps a day or two, and a way to communicate back to Baldur's Gate?
She says she doesn't mind. You could stay in her tower, or if you want more formal accommodations, there is an inn where you could go and stay.
We'll stay here. The inn probably costs money. So
And Rhea says, "You stay. I want to know where this. Tell me the way."
Well, I'll want a lance, though. I realized that as I was galloping about on my horse, I hadn't remembered a lance.
Apples, we'll get you a lance. There are more pressing matters at hand.
But yes, I mean, Aplos does raise a point that if we are going to charge into hell, we probably do need to be a wee bit better prepared than we were to fight some, Duke Van Thamper and her thugs.
Yes, I agree, but we're not there yet. The whole going to hell thing. You all seem pretty set on that.
I'm not set. No, I'm just saying that as a decision-making process, that as a businessman, you just remember that we will incur some costs to supply ourselves, so that needs to be part of the negotiation.
Yes, yeah, that will definitely be part of the negotiations. But
No,
the
you know what?
negotiations on the contract itself, encompassing this, I believe should happen first. I need to get in touch with someone.
I think we should go.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. I realize I barely know either of you. Aplos I've known my whole life, and I trust him. And I realized just hearing the two of you talk about this, and yes, it's less than a gold a person if you want to think of it that way. But you know who else thinks of it that way? Those people up in Baldur's Gate, those dukes that we've all been saying are bad people, the people who don't value those lives of those citizens, of those people that get stepped on all the time, that don't have shelter or food, and now they find themselves stuck in hell. They never asked for this. And yes, you're right, it's probably not the best business sense, but there's no one looking out for them now. I think we should at least try it.
Tears are welling up in Rhea's eyes, and she goes and stands by you and just smiles and nods in agreement.
You are a good person, despite questionable decision, but you're a good person. Laurel, I think you can see where your crew stands on this. And I will trust you to make the decision here. For us. The best decision for us.
All right. Listen, give me a couple of days to get in touch with the Flaming Fist and renegotiate this. If anything, just to make them aware of the situation and
Big no from
possibly
Rhea.
provide us.
I mean, they
One-
should be aware of the situation. They need to know that this town has, descended into hell. That's
Yes, they need to know the details, and they might be able to provide additional help. If they could equip us, provide us additional help, that's better than just jumping in and going alone. This is Rhea. I understand that this is close to the heart for you, but this is hell. You might walk into hell and immediately die. 1 foot and dead.
Oh,
Do you really want to rush
I
in
came to you
unprepared?
because I saw how bravely you fought when I first met you. But now I see this. No.
Oh,
She's
Mr.
she's
Lorem.
disappointed. You just see it on her face.
No, Mr. Lorem's actually rather good at thinking these through. We could go and establish what do they call a beachhead on dry land? A a a land head. We could go and establish a land head, and then they could send the supplies and reinforcements through to us. They'll show us the way in. You can write to them, and think of how strong our bargaining position will be, since we've already rescued so many thousands of people.
You can tell in your back and forth that you have with her, this is emotional. No logical. You're talking about her family. She needs to get there, and so she says,
okay.
You stay behind and you strategize and do whatever you want, but I'm going on ahead. And if I'm still alive when you finally decide to make your
Rhea.
way, then I'll
Rhea.
see you there.
Rhea, listen to me. If you dive in and you die immediately, then you can't save anyone. You have to have a plan before you jump in. And then if you have a plan, you have a chance.
She turns away and she looks at Silvira. She says, "Tell me the way. Every minute I waste on these appeals is a minute that I'm not there doing something."
Okay, all right. Let's try a different avenue here. I am not the most educated in these things, but correct me if I'm wrong, Silvira, time works differently in the different planes.
She says, "How would I know?"
Aren't you? This is Candlekeep. Aren't you supposed to know things?
Oh, you're talking to Silvira? She says,
Yeah. Oh, yes. All right.
It's theory. I could research that for you.
'Cause 3 days here might not even be an hour there.
Yeah.
So
Lots of things are different in the plains. Time, distance. She starts talking about all the variables.
Yeah, we don't need to get into the weeds here. Just a high level overview.
That's what I do is I get into the weeds.
Yeah.
I love it.
What sort of password way is it to the hells? Is it somewhere we have to go? Maybe there's time and travel anyway.
Oh, it's kind of not my jurisdiction so much. I'm not the person that would send you there. I got a friend though, about 20 miles north of here.
Well, 20 miles is a good day's 2 days.
I got griffins. We'll get you there, no problem.
Or maybe turtles
day?
that would give us more time. No, griffins. Okay, sure, why not? Oh wait, hang on. Never mind. That was the wrong response. I get to ride a griffin?
Yeah.
Please, can we go?
Yeah, I got a little hobby
close.
farm up top, and I
Okay.
part with a couple of them.
Oh, but how will I bring Admirable? My Admiral.
She says, "You want to bring your horse with you to the hells?"
Well, bringing a lance without a horse seems silly.
Well,
I suppose I could just run around and make galloping noises, but I get yelled at that.
We have a few coconuts in the bag.
I suppose.
She says, "I guess you could just ride the normal way, but what fun is that?"
To be honest, I'm a little torn right now.
maybe you can keep the griffin and take the griffin into hell.
I don't know that they're gonna let me do that, but I'll make the pitch to the Griffin Master while I'm up there.
Sometimes you just do. You don't ask.
That's probably a really bad way to get to hell. It's pretty much how you get there, in a nutshell. Well, I suppose I won't need the lance then.
I feel like the lance could come in handy, even if you don't have the horse. I'm
Oh.
just,
I'll
knows
never
what-
turn down more equipment. So if we could stop by the local lance shop on the way to the griffinry, and then we can be on our way. I'm a
So
little confused as to what I'm arguing for now.
you could definitely do like some shopping and things like that. They're going to have anything that's in the player's handbook, inventory lists. Like you'd be able to buy somewhere here in Candlekeep, and Ray would be willing to wait around for you to do a bit of shopping. But any more than that, she's going to go on ahead without you. So sounds like you've got a decision-making point here. Whether you'd like to wait to see if you could get a different deal or a better deal from the Flaming Fist, or if you want to go guns blazing ahead with Rhea.
I'm going to look to see. I want to try and find this Candlekeep. Someone must be able to cast some sort of message spell, sending what have you. I want to try and see if I can't get someone to contact what's her name, the new head of the Fliss, the daughter.
Leah?
Yeah. So you could definitely like make that happen. But the amount of time that you will have to do to find that person, send the message, and your negotiation, it's not going to be like a split second thing, right? Rhea's will not wait that long for that negotiation to take place.
All right, compromise we'll have to do. I will spend the hour or so that is will be spent shopping from someone, and I will sit down and I will completely rewrite out the contract that we have with addendums about the current situation as a proposal, and I will just hammer that out as fast as possible, and then I will just give that to a courier to deliver to Baldur's Gate.
Sounds good. So you managed to do that. Apollos, you go and you buy your lance. Other shopping that y'all want to do?
I'm just looking to see if there's anything I think might help us in hell. Maybe a grappling hook might be
Ooh.
useful.
I didn't think of one of those. She had grappling hooks.
I think Bren would like to talk to our tiefling scholar friend.
Yeah. So she says,
I don't remember.
Silvira.
Yeah, Silvira.
What is it, my son? My daughter. I don't know if that works.
The one. That's the one. Do you know much about the Hells? Themes?
I dabble. I only know so much as I have books about it, and first-hand accounts are hard to come by, but I've done a fair bit of reading.
In your reading, have you ever come across the name Black Cloak?
Black Cloak.
Dun, dun, dun.
And she starts like, hold on one second. She like pulls a couple of tomes off the shelves and she's flipping through them, and she says, Black Cloak. I swear I have heard that name before. It's like a level 3 devil. And she's like, sorry, I'm just trying to find my hierarchy charts. Yes, I definitely have. What's your question about him?
Well, so this contract that Davius Creek had with Zariel, is there, hypothetically speaking, a way to break such a contract or renegotiate the terms? Is that something that's possible?
Absolutely, yes. These types of things, they happen a lot with those, we've got a couple of families up there in Waterdeep that are always delving into junk like this, so we've got some precedent to know how such things work. But you made a deal with your soul, didn't you? You went.
No. This is. I'm speaking of Thavius and Zerial. So hypothetically,
Yeah.
if
She's
if
like,
Thavius- if
Okay.
Asking for a friend.
She's like, okay, yes, hypothetically. So Thavius, or you just told me this story about this woman in the woods, right? The Duke.
Precisely. Or even Thavius, who's made this contract with Zerial, if hypothetically speaking, Thavius was able to, I don't know, slay this devil or
Oof.
get someone else to slay this devil, would that null and void the contract?
No, that won't be good enough. Well, because that devil, this black cloak,
No,
or
Zerial.
Zariel, whatever. No judgment here, I thought about it from time to time. If you kill the Zariel, Zariel's a bad example. I'm guessing you're in some hot mess there. You kill the one that your friend made a deal with. They probably their contracts, their portfolio. There's somebody above them.
Oh,
Now,
that's
you get to the top of that hierarchy, you might be able to do something, but we don't have any precedent to know that.
have to go
So that's
deeper.
breach of contract. If you break that infernal contract, the worst thing in that contract is going to happen to you. Now renegotiating, that's a different story. If you make if one were to make contact with the one that they made a pretty bad deal with, could be that they want something more than your soul.
Hmm.
Hypothetically speaking, of course.
Of course. Just I'm trying to understand my Fabius's options right now.
Yeah, well, sounds like you all are planning to take this journey. You need to learn all you can.
Indeed.
So
Now this
Oh, go ahead.
now this familiar training thing that you were speaking of.
Oh yeah, and she goes and she grabs a book off the shelf. It's like,
Okay.
like
That's
a
all.
hundred,
That's all
hundred,
I was gonna-
100 tips to breaking your familiar.
All right, I'm done.
Evangeline?
All right. Oh, I just wanted to ask her, so obviously people have come back from hell. What do you have on the journey back?
She says, "Oh, you're planning to come back?"
That is the plan. Well, at least send them back. Someone's coming through the portal.
Man, that is very forward thinking of you.
Suddenly we regret everything.
She says, "Well, the way I was planning to send you there is my friend can cast plane shift on you. Maybe you can work something out with him to signal to him across the plains a pickup ride. Be your interplanar Uber."
Okay. That sounds sketchy as hell, but sure.
She says, "Otherwise, the outer planes are a tricky thing to just directly come back naturally without the use of magics. You'd have to stumble upon a naturally occurring portal, which who knows where it's going to take you. That's unreliable. Methods of drawing you into the astral plane, you could do such things and swim around, but then again, you're chancing it that you can find a direct path. Really, magics are the best way. This is
All right,
very powerful
well-
stuff. That's I'm offloading it on my friend who I studied under for many years.
Well, it sounds like we need to have a conversation with that friend before we jump right in.
Well, if you're ready, I can take you up, get you on your way.
Are we ready?
Lorem is just frantically scribbling on some parchment, and he's got like ink stains all over his hands. There's like one smeared across his forehead where he wiped away some sweat, and he's just furiously writing still. He's almost done. Almost.
And she says, "Oh, once you're done, I can take care of that for you. If any correspondence comes back, I'll save it for you." And she kind of looks skeptical that anything will, but nonetheless, she makes this promise to you.
Okay. So I finished writing it, and the adjustments, the differences in the clauses I have is that I want to double the payout for bringing back anything to do with the Grand Duke to 40,000. I want nobility titles for Bryn and Evangeline. Are you already a noble, or are you just
No,
wealthy?
I'm just a merchant.
Okay.
So yeah.
Nobility titles for Bryn and Evangeline, and then uh, assistance to be sent as soon as contact is made from us, if contact is made from us, be it in the form of reinforcements or supplies.
All right. So then you finish writing all that. She takes it from you. She says, "All right, first thing, when I get a chance, I'll send this out. But first, I want to get you acquainted with your steeds." And she takes you up the staircase to the apex of the tower, where there are a number of griffins nesting. She asks for some assistance. "Oh, help me out," and starts saddling them up. And she gives you some directions as to how you can connect with her friend. And she says, "Now, my friend Traxigor, he is a little bit of an odd fellow. Yeah, you'll see." And she kind of helps you, boosts you all up onto your griffins, and she says, "Well, good luck then. Um, I hope we'll see each other once again. And if we do, definitely come back, share with me everything that you see, everything you learn."
I will grab a business card out of my breast pocket and go, "For a price, you can have all the information you can dream of."
Takes that and tips her hat to you and throws it in as a bookmark in one of her tomes, and off you go. Your griffins seem to know the way. She's given you some directions, but it's almost like they just instinctually know which way they are headed. As you start to head out to sea, flying just below the clouds, Candlekeep begins to look no less majestic, but begins to shrink in your view behind you. The large rocky islands off the Sword Coast pass underfoot, and after a long journey, you see a windowless, doorless stone tower, which somehow floats in the sky ahead. The griffins pass through jagged holes, riddling the tower's conical peak to land on the top floor, which has a spiral staircase leaning down. And the griffins just kind of land, allow you to dismount, and kind of nestle and take a rest after the long journey. Takes you the better part of the day to get there.
What was the name of the individual we're seeing?
Traxigor.
Traxidor.
How is that spelled?
Traxigor.
Oh, I put ADOR.
Okay. So where are we? We're in like a tower.
You're at the top of the tower. You head
Give it a
down,
name.
and you can see a cluttered chamber illuminated by various objects upon which continual flame spells have been cast. Scurrying about the room is an otter, dressed in a tiny red cassock. The otter mumbles to itself in common, mentioning something about a tuning fork. Suddenly, he takes notice of you and stands upright. It says, "Lulu, wake up! Our guests have arrived!" And at the sound of her name, this tiny little elephant with golden fur appears from under a pile of blankets near a table strewn with alchemical equipment. The elephant takes to the air. It's like a halfling-sized little critter. Kind of glows and shimmers. It's got these feathery wings that are kind of almost like hummingbird-like, and it kind of darts around in that kind of side-to-side, up-down helicopter pattern. And it lets out this pleasing little trumpet sound. And it kind of flies over by first Evangeline, kind of darting around, like looking you in the eyes and says, "Hi!"
Hello?
Actually, I don't know if you could understand it. Do you speak Celestial? Does
Do
anybody
not
speak
know.
Celestial?
I feel like
This
I
is-
took Celestial, but I'm not sure.
Let's out kind of this musical sound. And this little otter is just say, "Oh, yes, say hello to Lulu. Hi, Lulu.
Hello.
Hello, Lulu.
Hello, Lulu.
I got a communication from Silvira that 5 folks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are seeking to go to the 9 hells."
I'm sorry. We're looking for Tarax Agor.
You're speaking to him.
Oh,
It's an otter.
hello.
Are you always an otter? Or is this...
I'm always an otter. Many years ago, I decided to make the change. Never looked back.
Okay. Do you enjoy being an otter? I suppose
You
do.
betcha. Yeah, the perks. There's so many perks. I bore you all day with how much I'm living my best life here as an otter.
Can eat on your tummy. That's nice.
Uh-huh. I've heard about such things, and I think they say if you haven't, you ought to try it.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that one yet.
Take us to hell now.
I think we're already there.
This is it.
Oh, yes. Good
Yes.
intentions and
I-
puns. That is what paves the
So,
path.
so yes, hello. My name is Lorem Goldshoulder, owner of Goldshoulder Consulting and Concern. Yes, we are looking to get passage to Avernus.
And that's what I'm going to try to help you with, but I'm looking. It's been a long time since I've had this kind of request. I'm looking for my tuning fork. I need my tuning fork.
I will look around and see if I spot a tuning fork hidden
Um,
somewhere.
Make an investigation check.
Investigation check. Where is my investigation? Oop, nope, that's the wrong one. Oop.
13. So you're kind of rummaging around in some of his mess here. And you kind of just like, as he's like tossing objects, some of his dirty laundry about. You just, as this is happening, from the light of one of those continual flame spells, you see the glint of something maybe buried under some of his flowery underwears.
It's an otter underwear. Okay. Um,
Have like a cutout for his tail.
Otter armor.
More and more
Otter with
questions.
otter. Oh no. So I will go ahead and pluck it out. Is it a tuning
Oh!
fork?
It sure is, and you've got it. He's
Right.
like, oh, and he's like kind of hits it. Oh, yeah, that's it. So, what I understand is you're heading to Avernus. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So Vira asked me
Round trip.
if I might
Yes,
lend you
right.
Lulu.
Yes, round trip. Yes, round trip.
Yeah.
Round
Let's
tri-
discuss
round
that.
trip.
Yeah. So theoretically, you take us here with this plane shift. What are our options for getting back via you?
Via me?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. And he's thinking, and he's thinking. It's a tough one. I mean, how will you be able to contact me? I'm not sticking around in Avernus.
Well,
Is there a way to contact you across the plains?
He's looking around. And he's like, I don't suppose any of you. Tell you what. Maybe what she tells me is that you're looking to head to El Terrell. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Hmm. I'll do you a solid. Every day, I'll take a quick pop into the high hall there, assuming it's still around. And if y'all are, I'll do this. I'll do this once a day. Just check, see if you're there. If not, I'm popping right out.
All right, that sounds reasonable enough. How long are you willing to do this for?
Oh, I'll kind of keep tabs on it. I think I'll have a good sense of whether you're still around or not. I'll do it for quite some time, till I'm sure, one way or another. If I even think there's a slimmer of hope that you all are still out there, I'll keep coming.
Oh, that's rather nice of you.
it's very generous.
Well, he's this one here, and he's pointing at the little elephant thing. Let me pop up the image of what it looks like. He points at it and he says, I'm willing to do it because I'm wondering if you might take this thing with you, Lulu. Lulu's been there before.
Lulu looks
Oh.
like she's been there before.
Lulu's seen some shit.
Lulu is not at all how I was picturing. I was picturing much more majestic.
Yeah, it kind of has this almost bizarro. I don't know what movie it reminds me of, but it like is conjuring up something from my childhood that I just don't know what
It's
what
like a
film it
demon
is.
Dumbo.
Yeah, something like
Like
that.
one of the sad stuffed animal that you've had for like 15 years, and like the stuffing's all worn
Yeah.
down.
But he tells you, Lulu, Silvira, and I have been we've been investigating some things that we didn't think were quite right with El Terrell and the High Overseer there for quite some time. This little creature here, from what I understand, it doesn't have its memories quite yet, but maybe it took a trip into the River Styx or something. But there's something you can tell. There's a knowingness in there. If you look into its eyes, those memories, they're blocked, but they're still there. Maybe you bring it back, it'll start to remember some things. Maybe it'll aid you. I'd be very curious to know what Lulu might remember.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well,
Well, we need all the help we can get.
yeah, and if Lulu is from there and ended up here, then maybe one of these memories has a way of getting us back.
That's a very good point.
Mhm.
Could be.
Well, what's this about the River Styx?
It's a river that connects many of the hells and even areas of the abyss. It is the front lines of the blood war.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Mhm.
It's not. It's a terrible, bloody fight, unending. I'd tell you more about it, but judging by that one, he sees Rhea's kind of pacing about the room. I think you're aiming to skedaddle, huh? But you got any questions, feel free to answer them. It's going to take me a little bit to prepare this spell.
Have you sent people to Avernus before?
Hmm. Not specifically Avernus, no.
That's concerning because you planned on popping into a specific place in Avernus daily. Can you do that? Can you aim whatever
Well,
magic this is?
That's what I'm aiming to do. The place we are looking for is El Terrell, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we got the tuning fork. Like I said, I'll do my best, but that's my goal is to bring you to this location on the plane.
Oh, you could drop us right there.
Oh,
That is
Oh,
my
that's
hope.
that's convenient.
that's nice. Now, this tuning fork. Now, I don't mean to criticize. I'm sure you have a wonderful process, but when we got here, it was under some laundry. So, since it is so critical to the mission, do you have like a safe shelf or something that we can put the tuning fork while we're
Oh.
gone?
Hey, look, I'm an otter now. Your organizational plans and your rules don't matter to me. I live the way I live. You could judge it. Who's got the tuning fork?
I'm not judging you. All I'm saying
It felt a little
is that-
judgy.
No, it's not judgy. Look, however you want to live your life is perfectly fine with me.
Thank you.
So long as the tuning fork doesn't get lost. And if you've got a system, then I will trust
You know-
your system.
I used to have a gopher that I lived with who said all the same things as you, and every time we'd set up things the way that they wanted, I couldn't find anything.
Okay, so you've got a little bit of a hoarder brain thing going. I understand. As long as that tuning fork is where you know where it is.
I mean, Miss Evangeline, to be fair, we did find the tuning fork in the otter boxers, and I hear that's a very protective piece of equipment.
Point of inspiration for
Apples.
Apples.
We take us to hell now.
We're already there, Bryn. We're already there.
And
Ren.
with that, he instructs you all link up hands. The Lulu lands itself on strangely Bryn's shoulder, and it seems like Lulu's kind of like sniffing about you. I don't know where the imp is necessarily. Maybe that's what it's kind of like, it's like the dog that smells a cat on the new person. Got kind of that disposition crawling around on you. But the rest of you link up hands, and Traxagor is in the center of you, and he starts to hit that tuning fork several times and begins to cast the spell. And that is where we will end the session as you plane shift and you descend into Avernus.
Who could have foreseen this?
Not us.
No.
I didn't think it was going to happen so nonchalantly. I thought we were going to get dragged into hell.
No, we took the escalator. I can't speak today. To hell.
Whoa, thanks for the gems, man!
Thank you
I
for
am
the
very-
gems, Kogo.
Yay, gems!
Yay!
Yay.
I am very upset that this whole contract business was used against me. Very upset. Oh,
You could have waited. You don't know Rayo that well, right?
It's true, we could have.
Yeah.
but
But Raya gets the best hits of any of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ray's going to be the only one that keeps us alive.
Mhm.
So,
maybe Scraggly Elephant, maybe Lulu,
yeah. I
Attack
like
Lulu.
Lulu.
Lulu will be fun.
Oh, one point of measure, I give Trexigor my business card before we leave, because I'm sure we'll have many. If we make it out, we'll have many things to discuss that might come with a price tag.
He puts it in like a strangely organized Rolodex. Otters.
Yeah, otters.
No one understands them.
So welcome back, team.
Yes.
Yay!
Hey.
I'm so happy we're back. It's so fun.
It is.
We're back here, folks, weekly. We just decided mere minutes before we came online that we will be weekly, at least for the foreseeable future. So that's always a lot easier to like throw graphics out there promoting the stream, because it's say every Wednesday instead of necessarily spelling out the date. So next time that we pick back up, we will be right on the streets of El Terrell. Your otter friend will not have guided you wrong. He will have been able to specify the location that you are specifically trying to drop on, and I think it'll be action-packed.
Oh.
See, he's burying the lead there. He gave us the assurance so that he can rip the assurance away from us later.
I mean, if we're talking about assurances that have been given that are being slowly wheeled away. Level 5?
Level 5!
Is that a thing?
Yeah, level 5.
Woo!
Yay!
You thought the puns were bad before. Wait till I start summoning steeds.
Oh.
Yes. So you get to level up. I think you already dealt with the gold that you had available to you. Oh no, it's still in there.
I grabbed it and I put it in my sheet, but it didn't take
it off.
The party sheet.
Interesting. All right, I'll just
Infinite
delete that out of
gold.
there. Yeah, you broke the game.
It was a legal loophole.
Jakers McBob, woot! I stayed a whole stream. That's awesome.
Hey.
I know there's
And we didn't die.
a bunch of people on YouTube that I've gotten like messages from or comments on the videos that'll be happy to finally see that there is indeed another episode.
We're back.
Nice.
We're back. And I took the advice that I don't know, we might do Sirenscape before, but I know in that last one, at least big part of that first part of that episode, I had the music way too loud. So I think I've got many of my technical kinks worked out from several months ago when we started playing. So I hope that's the case. I'll have to rewatch and see where we're at. But we're wrapping up things here on Descent into Avernus. Again, you can catch us again next Wednesday and Wednesdays after that at 7 p.m. Central. I never did look up when our subscriber game is, but we got one this weekend. So if you have not yet supported the channel with a subscription, you can do so. And at the beginning of the month, you'll get email that will have the signups for the games. You can also support us on Patreon, as many of our folks do, and be able to get early access to the signups and be able to directly sign up into our Isle of Dread campaign. I'd like to sign off here, I guess, saying thank you to many of the patrons that we have. Winston, Brandon Gurley, Corey, Robin Williams, Chris Jones, Scott Norris, Aaron Toll, Joe Truesdale, Paul, Ruth Imhoff, Corey Jernigan, Kit, Dawson, Brett Smoot, Robert Angus, Dale Postel, Casey, and Replay Gaming. We really appreciate the support and look forward to being in a game with you. Trying to see, do I have any Twitch friends online that we can drop in on with a host?
Captain Reboot was playing, but I'm not sure if they're still on at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, my Stream Elements doesn't necessarily tell me who my friends are that are online.
Oh, nope, they're off. They're actually hosting us. So.
Oh, okay.
Hey!
What happens if you host them?
Looks like Duff is out
Infinite
there.
loop.
So
Yeah, Duff's doing some reruns of stuff. He's been doing
is
Aaron
he
most of the day, I think.
Nice.
all right,
Oh,
might
okay,
be
cool.
a rerun. We'll see. We'll gamble with it. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.